Hey guys, welcome out to the shop today. We got a simple project here, and it is refinishing some cabinets. I've already worked on the actual cabinet that needs the refinishing, but what I do have and I could bring out into the shop is the cabinet doors. The same principle and same technique that I'm going to be using for these cabinet doors goes for the entire cabinet. So I've got them out here on the bench, and the very first thing that you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove all of your hardware. Alright guys, now that that is over, we can go ahead and flip it over. And the one thing that we are trying to do is repaint the entire cabinet a white color. What we have to do to begin with is get all of the old clear finish off of here. And for that, I'll be using some 180 grit sandpaper. I've got this roll right here, and I'm just tearing off a short section of it. And the most difficult part of this is going to be the doors. That's why I wanted to bring these out. And it's not the flat spots that is the issue. It's the actual molding area or the design pattern inside of your doors. The one thing that is nice is having a sanding block. I have, I think 320 grit on here right now. But being able to just use the sanding block in all of the flat spaces works well. But when you get to more of the smaller areas and where the grooves are and stuff like that, you want to have a hand ready, because you want to be able to use the very fine edge of this, and you can actually get into the edges where you need the sanding. So I'm just going to go ahead and do the entire door just by hand. You can see that we've gotten everything nice and sanded down, and this has left everything kind of rough, and this is what we're looking for. We don't want any kind of sheen or anything like that. So you guys can see the difference in between the two doors now. So this one's already been sanded. Most of the clear finish is taken off. You guys can tell the difference between the no sheen and the sheen. And this is what we're looking for, so that we can get a good adherence with the new paint. And one final check after I went ahead and blew it off and got it all cleaned and wiped down. I'm just looking for anything that looks excessively shiny, and I don't see anything anywhere. So that's good. That means that we are ready to go ahead and paint. What I'm using here for paint is a paint primer, antique white. Now that you've gotten all of your paint mixed up, we can go ahead and I'm just going over it one last time to make sure that I don't have anything loose on here that's going to end up coming off during the painting process. And this is my first coat. I always go back and do a second coat. As you can see, there is not a complete coverage. I try to do a lighter coat for the first one, and then the second one will get a complete coverage and blend everything together. Well, I've got the paint drying on the cabinet. I've got the hardware for it. And this is old, dingy brass color, and it's really been taking its toll over the years. I think these are probably almost 30 years old. And instead of just replacing them, we're going to give them a new life. And the easiest way to do that is with a wire wheel and just stripping off the clear finish as well with this. And then we'll give it a nice coat of black spray paint. It's all cleaned up now, and all of it is pretty much stripped away. You can see how there's some really super shiny spots on there, and that's the actual bare brass metal. And if you have some parts of these that you cannot get into, a little tiny wire brush works great with these. So now it's time to go ahead and spray paint. And as you can see, I've got a couple different pieces right now in the middle of getting it painted, and I do a really light coat at first just to pretty much get it started. And then I'll recoat 4 or 5, maybe 6 different times just to kind of give it that thicker coating. So now we'll just let this sit and it'll dry as well. So here are the doors all pretty much finished up. They have sat overnight. And then here is the hardware, and as you can see, I've got the screws right here. What I did, screwed them into the cardboard, and then I was able to spray the tops of these, so that works out great. And now we are just ready for the reassembly process. And there are the new doors freshly installed. I really like the hardware that's on there. The black looks really good. And like I said, we repainted the whole entire vanity already. Thanks guys for watching today's video on kind of upgrading your original vanities. This was a plain Jane, just wood look, and we weren't happy with it. And with a little bit of paint and some little extra elbow grease, we have a new looking vanity that looks much better than the old style. Thanks guys for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them down in the section below. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you on the next project.